Welcome to today's episode of the People of Fishing podcast. I'm Chris Kingree as your host as always, and today I've got a special guest all the way from Alabama who was originally from Florida, Mikey Balzz. He's one of my good friends that I've met over the last couple years, and I originally, when I first got into fishing, I really liked his videos, and it taught me a lot about punching and about different things in Florida. And it really helped because he was doing it on lakes that were around me, like Orange Lake and La Clusa and Russo. And I just really liked learning new things. And it was back when people weren't really doing a lot of that stuff. It just started to come about, and he was really one of the innovators in the area for really getting on YouTube and showing people how to do this stuff. And so today I really want to see what really makes Mikey tick. Everybody meet Mikey.
What's up, Chris? How you doing, dude? Thanks for the nice words.
Always. So when you going into the fishing side of things, what got you started in fishing?
Dude, to be honest with you, I used to wakeboard a whole bunch and I actually grew up in Wisconsin. So I'm a Florida transplant, but I've been in Florida for God knows how long. But we used to go wakeboarding a whole bunch up on the lakes up in Wisconsin, and we kind of just started dicking around and fishing every once in a while, and we caught them pretty good one day, and I kind of got hooked on it, and then sort of stopped fishing for a while when I was in college. I was very busy partying. It's a very important part of the college lifestyle, you know. So I kind of like drifted away from it, but you and I both know over in Gainesville, I went to UF, and they have Lake Wahlberg right there. Mm-hmm. And as a student, I was able to access Lake Wahlberg, and dude, I had this little 49cc scooter, and I'd go down there with a trolling motor and go fish Wahlberg. And at the time, Wahlberg was not good, but it had giants. And I had a little Sony Handycam, and I brought it with me because we're kind of in the same, I guess, realm with technology. Kind of when everything transitioned and technology, especially like video, all the audio, the internet sort of bloomed and transitioned and became a lot more accessible to kind of your ordinary average dude. And that was in that range of time. And I brought the camera with me and just started documenting it as kind of a fishing journal, a new style fishing journal. And dude, like the first time I caught like a 6-pounder and like got it on video, I'm like, holy, like this is so cool, you know? Like I want to do more of that. And in a way, like I loved fishing already, and then the video kind of fed into that, and both these things, like playing with technology and then going fishing, sort of like integrated, and they sort of drove each other kind of like reciprocally, you know, and that's where we're at now.
So I did some looking, and I went back to like the first video you put up.
Oh God. Was I wearing a life jacket? I had a little life
jacket. You were wearing a ski vest life jacket.
It made me wear those, dude, at Wahlberg.
It was it was an interesting video because it was the titling back then was like, it looked like you didn't really care about SEO or any of the stuff that you might care about now.
No, it was a log.
Right. It really looked like a fishing diary.
It was a log, 100%. Yeah. Because, well, I'm cutting you off, but so one of the things I learned with and it was sort of funny because you talk about SEO, that was personal SEO, because what I would actually do, so anybody who goes way back on the channel, there'll be like a date, like I think it's like 10/20/09 or something, and then it'll say like the fish size and then sometimes like a bait. And what I did is, you know, if you go on like Windows or something like that, you can easily search terms in your file names. And I'd use that, I would archive on a monthly basis and then an annual basis, but then I could search all that content and pull up, when was I catching all these 5-pounders? When do I have a bunch of fish catches? You know, I'd search like a certain month or something. What's the pattern for October? And it was my own little personal SEO, so I could hedge all this documentation that I had and go back and reference it and use it the next year, use it 2 years later to see what the lake looked like. And that was the original, like I said, like sort of the original imagining of what I was doing with video.
And for anybody that's wondering what SEO is, it's search engine optimization. I take it for granted sometimes.
Exactly.
But it basically is, you know, adding keywords to titles to make it easier to search for. And that's what you're saying. You actually made your own version of a search engine, I guess, based on Windows, just to look that stuff up later on.
Yeah, it was kind of my own indexing.
Yeah,
it didn't
yeah.
work for YouTube at all,
Right.
because I think I got like 50,000 subscribers 10 years later. But it worked for me though, and I learned a ton about fishing doing it, and it was just fun. Like you said, like this was before the concept of the vlog. Like this was the blog times, dude. You know, like we didn't have a V in front of it, so it was a different style of video and a different sort of cultural time, I guess, too. And for me, it was all about the information versus creating like a narrative content or a teaching style content.
Right. You weren't actually uploading it for viewers at that point. You were uploading it for your own personal.
Well, see, and that's where I think it's kind of interesting. So, dude, I've always been, because no one really taught. I had some good friends that taught me stuff about fishing, and my old man never really fished, but he was always very supportive of it. But no one really would teach me. Like dude, I would fish a few little derbies up in Wisconsin, and dude, there'd be the old guy that smokes a ton of cigarettes with his Ranger shirt on, and he'd catch like 19 and a half pounds, and I would look at him and go, what the hell did he just do? Like, I would have like, I don't get it. Like, I caught 4 fish. I didn't even catch 5, you know? Yeah. And I'd always try to like either approach those guys or like ask questions, and what do you call it? The openness to those questions was like -2, if that's even, you know, evaluatable. So like that pissed me off, because I didn't want to go catch his fish, even though that's kind of what happens, you know, when you share your patterns and that. But I wanted to learn, and I wanted to get better at something. And what I found is like these guys want to talk, and then you got like Bassmaster and FLW, and especially at those times, their content was okay, but dude, they were writing these generic articles about God knows what. There was very little specialization, and it was very, I mean, I always go back to the example, that Bassmaster Classic that the dude won on a Lucky Craft jerkbait, he won it on a Lucky Craft jerkbait, was throwing a Strike King, and that's the same kind of textual content you'd get from them back then, because they weren't held it to account. And I wanted to share what I was learning, even though I didn't know much, in an open resource. And the YouTube, Google Video at that time, when I first started doing the videos, was a way to disseminate that content and get it out there. And if somebody was willing to put the work in to find it, they could see what fish I was catching at Lake Wellberg or Orange Lake or Russo or whatever. And that was what I believed in. Not like, I guess, not giving somebody something, but if you're willing to put the work in, go online and actually look for what you're trying to learn about and go through that process, it's right there. And I wanted to be a part of adding to that database of fishing knowledge and content, even though I didn't know that much, but every little bit, like, it's almost like open source fishing, dude. Every little bit counts.
Yeah, it looked like you posted almost every fish you caught too. It wasn't like, you know, it wasn't this long drawn out 10-minute, 30-minute video, whatever it was that, you know, people try to shoot for these days for advertising revenue. And
yeah, dude,
it was, you know, a minute and a half, and you caught 1 5-pounder.
Exactly.
And it was,
or a rat dick, like you're saying, like a little, like a little tiny.
Yeah,
one,
the
dude.
first one, I think it was called. It said, I think, dock flipping dink or something like that.
Yeah, just trying to contextualize.
I don't even know if that fish made it after it smashed your boat at 100 miles an hour.
Feel bad about it. Yeah, that's a tin boat. That was a trip too. Did I ever tell you about my rig to go out there?
No, I remember watching the progression over the years. So it was like the little John boat,
the rented John boat.
Oh, okay.
But see, that's the trick though. So Wahlberg, like they rent those John boats, or I don't know if they still do. But dude, I had that 49cc scooter, so I got like some chain from True Value or whatever from Ace. And I would chain a hand-controlled trolling motor to that back little, like, you know, grid, like the carrying case you got.
Yeah.
So the trolling motor would be perpendicular to the 49cc scooter. I put a 12-volt down on my feet at that little foot pad, and then I stuck rods in. I made tubes in the little in the grate back there and stick rods. Dude, I looked like a clown, man. Like, it was great. And I go down, what is that road, 27, 41 to go through Payne's Prairie or whatever. And I go down that jug. I got pulled over by the state troopers a couple times because they thought I had robbed somebody's garage, and I was making my fast, speedy getaway on my 49cc scooter going like 42 miles an hour, dude. So, but dude, I bring all that stuff out there and hook it up to the boat and go fishing. It was awesome.
Man, that's an interesting beginning there.
Old school.
So what I remember you telling me that you had joined a couple clubs along the way back in the day. And what was your experience in that? What did you feel? What did you feel like that did for you?
You know, it opened a lot of opportunities because at that time I was in college at UF, or I wasn't in college. I think I had just graduated when I joined the club, but I couldn't go anywhere. Like I was on that scooter. I could not go to Russo. I could not go to Orange. If you guys are hearing this banging, there's a small Bog is actually here in the studio with us wagging his tail under the table. But so basically, I think it's Florida or Gator Bassmasters I was in. It's whatever the Gainesville club is. Yeah. And dude, there were some great sticks in there. I guess Shaw had fished with them at some point. And, dude, like sticks, local sticks. And it seems like people that come out of Gainesville or this area, they're not only good like in North Central Florida, they're good everywhere. Like the diversity of fishing around here really offers an angler and those that are Glenn might have flipped all the time, but that dude could read water, dude. Like he knew like. So basically, there were some great anglers in there, and I only had my scooter, so they would offer to like meet me in a parking lot. It was kind of shady, dude. Like, yeah, dude, I'll meet you at the McDonald's, but they'd pick me up from the parking lot and take me to the tournaments and fish as a co-angler, and it was freaking cool, man. And it's interesting too because it catalyzed. A lot of people get frustrated being a co-angler, you know, and it is tough because you're at the whim of your boater and that. But for me, it was a way to sort of put a chip on my shoulder and be like, I want to do more. Okay. Like, I want more involvement. So what am I going to do? I can't afford a damn bass boat, dude. Like, that's too expensive. So I found some, like, crap hole, like, 16.5-foot John boat from 1970 for $500 in Ocala, and I bought it. Like, so it was a sort of, it was another stepping point in, like, getting to having your own boat and, like, pushing that and making that a priority kind of as you move forward. So it was all part of the process. It was a fun time, though.
Yeah, fishing in the club was, for me, I always have to have some sort of, you know, competitive atmosphere to learn more. Right. I need to get my butt kicked a couple times and then I can start figuring out why I'm, you know, not getting better. And it's like the motivation you need sometimes to kickstart something and say, oh, I'm tired of getting my butt kicked. I need to work on it.
Oh, definitely, dude. There's nothing like that, like a reality check on a Saturday, dude. When you come in with like 6 pounds, you're like, damn, it was tough. And then somebody lays 25 on the scale and you're like, damn, it wasn't tough. You know, so
it wasn't tough for him.
I did the same thing. I fished the BFLs. I never fished as a co-angler in the BFLs. And I did the same thing though, like with my 17.5-foot tracker, dude. I'm like, get it, boy, you know, and like I got out there and actually I did pretty well, but it was definitely humbling. Toho's always been a nemesis of mine, man. Yeah. And like I would go and fish all the BFLs for the year, and we go to Toho, and I would suck, and I would have no concept, and guys were catching them. And I did the same thing. I used that as a motivator. There were, back when I fished on Okeechobee, there were a lot of weekend derbies and that, so I'd fish the little $60 Bass Busters and that. But just to be perfectly full disclosure, like I kind of got to a point where I got sick of it and a little jaded. I didn't have a lot of money at that point. I still don't have a bunch, but I'm definitely a lot more comfortable than I used to be. And I was spending all this money for what? Like, in reality, you're never going to make money fishing tournaments, dude. Even at the pro level, a lot of those guys aren't making money. Like, that's sort of the unspoken secret. And it's a lot of fun. I don't really thrive on the competition. Maybe I'm a millennial, dude. I thrive on the experience and the learning process. And there's no question that the competition catalyzes and motivates that learning process. But I got a little jaded with the whole atmosphere of it and just, I got sick of it, man. And I used the videos and trying to capture content to sort of motivate and catalyze that learning process, you know, like getting out there and it's like, dude, I want to learn something. I want to figure out a pattern today and I want to capture it. And that in a way has worked better for my personality and character, kind of where I'm at now. Now, maybe that'll change in 10 years, but like, that's where I'm at now, you know?
Yeah. Do you think back then that you ever had any kind of aspirations to be a professional fisherman? Or was it always just, you know, you fishing, you against the fish kind of deal?
Well, no, I mean, it's never just you against the fish. I mean, like, you fish the clubs. Like, you're fishing for the fish, but you're fishing against people.
There's some guys, like your buddy Sean, for instance. I feel like he's a me against the fish kind of guy.
Yeah, you know, now he is. But he's like an old wise man, though. He's like one of those guys, like, he should have like a long beard and just like, you know, meditate when you run into him. He's like, I'm ready to go fishing. Like, that's kind of how I see him. He's kind of like a guru. But he went through the tournament process, you know. I don't know, like, yeah, I guess I want, So here's the funny part. You remember Circuit Breaker?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, and then this is me being like a hipster, like, bro, you know, like I knew about that before it was cool, you know? So like 2 years before they did Circuit Breaker, and dude, I was poor as, you don't got to bleep that out now. But dude, I had nothing, like zero. And I'm like, you know, it'd be really cool if I freaking fished like the Opens or something. And I captured that whole experience, that whole process. But you know what I mean? Like, because I shot a video called Matted, and I went for 3 days to Great Hammock on Kissimmee. And I'm like, my goal was I took 3 days off of work, I brought the dog, it was cold, it was setting up for a punching bite. And I'm like, I'm going to capture this process, like from getting there to going out to getting a few bites to bringing things together. And 3 days is my range. Like if I can get 3 days on a body of water, I can usually, not always, you know, like some lakes up north that I've been trying to learn, like they're very different for me. So it's been tough, but usually a lake in Florida, if I get 3 good days on it, I'm going to figure something out. I might not whack them. I might not catch them better than anybody else, but I'll figure it out. And I wanted to capture that 36-hour process. And I'm like, dude, if you could do that like with an Open or something and like get going through the process, all the crap you see now, like my emotions right now are running high, you know, but at that point it was new because no one was doing it. And that was something I thought would be cool because not only would you be fishing at a higher level, but you'd also be sharing and capturing that experience, which at that time was somewhat behind the curtains other than from a textual standpoint. But I guess I thought about that, but I've always had I don't like the pro fish. I mean, you know me, dude. I get a little annoyed with the whole pro fishing because in my personal opinion, like I think not anybody, there are some great excellers. There's definitely, you know, there's Kevin Van Dam, Jacob Wheeler, like him or not, like he's good. He makes things happen. Like, but fishing is a weird sport/activity because anyone can be successful at it. You can be old, you can be young, you can be stupid, you can be smart, you can be white, you can be black, you can be whatever, and you can be good at it, dude. So like, I always catered to like I like the blue collar guys, the guys that go out on the weekends and stuff like that. Like they could compete if they had the facility, the money, and like, so that's always been kind of my holdup with pro fishing is that it's not a joke, but like, I don't know what the right word is. I'm a little jaded with it because I think it's been a old men's club or there's been a gateway of accessibility. And I don't like that. I like no rule. I'm a no rule kind of guy. I'm kind of an anarchist. So.
Yeah, it was like one of the first things when I got into it. If it wasn't for my buddy hammering on me to get into tournament fishing, I don't know if I would have, you know, felt the same way about it because he introduced me to the crowd and the first couple guys I fished with and stuff like that. I mean, heck, to get me into tournament fishing, he had this idea that a group of friends of ours, we would just throw $20 in the hat, fruit charge style.
I love that.
And it'd be like five boats, and we would just go out for like 6 hours and, you know, weigh in at like 12, 1 o'clock or something like that. And whoever had it was a winner take all thing. Whoever had the best 5 at, you know, 1 o'clock or whatever, we would just do that on random lakes around here. And I never understood why he was doing that back then. And it was more along the lines of just to get me interested in finding my own path. And I always wanted to fish with him because I grew up saltwater fishing.
Right.
And so we always, you know, I always had somebody out there fishing with me and whatever. And so coming over to the lakes and stuff, he's like, no, you go fish by yourself. And, you know, I've already like kind of taught you some of the stuff, but why don't you go out and like, we'll just, you know, put a little competition in it and see what we can do. It wasn't about the money or, you know,
it was a camaraderie, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, it's a different context too, because I look at that as more of like what I'm doing with the videos. Like, dude, so like I put up like a Ned video and like, I'm like, here's what I know. And it's very little, but I know something, you know, like, let me share what I know. But why don't you guys, because there's 50,000 plus people subscribed to this channel, and there's a lot of people that watch the videos, which is, I think is awesome. Why don't you tell me what you know? Because all of you guys know a whole hell of a lot more than I do. But like those little weekend like pickup things when you're going out there with, like, what I like about that though is you guys all come to the ramp, and even though you bust your boys' balls, like, dude, I whooped yay, you know, and stuff like that, it'll be like, so here's what I did. I caught him on a swimming worm, dude.
Yeah,
and like
everybody learns.
Yeah, and like it's an exchange, a process. You're all sharing in that competitive aspect drives it. But I like those little like $10, almost like playing horse, with your buddy, but fishing style.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's enough to cover gas for the day if you win.
Yeah, that's great. Never think you're gonna get your money out of fishing, dude. Never.
Yeah.
Never gonna happen.
It's a good lesson like that carries through from start to finish too. If you ever, go into it thinking that you're going to get rich right off the bat, you're going to be very disappointed.
Never going to get rich. Like that's kind of the only rule of fishing is you will never make money off of it for the most part.
So the interesting thing, so I know over the years you've had your fair share of trolls in the YouTube world and along the way, the most common thing, as you know, I'm quite the outlet for people that come in and say whatever they want about whatever they know. One thing that's always been a common thing that I've heard was, man, it must be nice to be Mikey to just, sit home and make fishing videos all the time. Doesn't that guy work? I never hear about him working or this or that or whatever. So the big thing is like, so it's like, what were you doing at that point in time when you were making all those videos? Obviously you had to, survive. Fishing's
working.
Expensive, as we said.
I was working. Like, that is one misconception with the videos is that like I'm just going fishing all the time, and I'm not. Now there's no doubt I get to fish more now because I've started working for myself. But the videos you see through 2014, 2015, even actually 2015, I think. Dude, I was working in a library. I worked.
Mikey the librarian.
I was a librarian. There's beautiful women in libraries, dude, and they're smart too. But worked in a library. I actually worked in 2 libraries. I worked with some people with some developmental disabilities at one point. I've done a lot of things. I worked for myself doing some landscaping. Like, I always had a million jobs because I wasn't making ends meet. Because here's the deal too, dude. If you go back and you look at those videos, when I started shooting the videos, I graduated from college in I think 2010 or 2009, I think it was. And what happened in 2008, dude? Like, the whole hit the fan, and like it sucked. So like, the template of getting out of school is like, get out of school, get a great job, go and do my thing. Dude, I got out of school and like I couldn't get a job. I'm like, this sucks, like I got pissed, and it was a struggle, and fishing was really an outlet for that, but it was tough to kind of get my feet on the ground. So I was working a bunch of different jobs and working during the week, and I don't know, it was a tough time, but it taught me a lot. So
what did you get your degree in?
Something useless, English. Yeah, so beyond 08, no wonder I wouldn't make any money, dude. Like, but I guess the question was really, do I work? Yeah, I do a bunch of different like web marketing and consulting stuff, and I've been able to kind of make my own way. It started off very small, very rice and beans for dinner every night, and it's kind of grown. And I've networked with great people like you, 44 Tackle, Gambler. I have a few businesses I work with outside the industry in that, and it's been fun, and it grows, and I feel like I work a lot harder than I should to make what I make, but I love what I do, and I love the freedom. Since I work for myself, I'm able to sneak out on a Monday, fish for like 5-6 hours, and come home and work till like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So that kind of freedom has really opened up opportunities with making the videos, and I like it. I'm happy.
And what's your relationship with some of those companies that you work with at this point?
So I do a variety of like marketing stuff, like social media management. So I'll manage Facebook pages. I'll help to create Facebook ads. Since I've learned how to do the video stuff, I'm no professional. So I don't do like the fancy, Canon, Nikon, all that kind of stuff. But, I can shoot like a cool product video for somebody if they need somebody to film. I work with JT. I'll put in a selfless plug. I actually am producing. Let's see. I got to get this straight because I don't know the process. I think I'm a producer, but I'm not sure. But I'm definitely editing JT's show on the streaming service for MOTV, My Outdoors TV. He's got the fishing show with JT Kenny. Mm-hmm. So if you guys are interested in checking that out, like I edit that stuff. Really, it's a patchwork conglomeration. So that's what I've learned about the fishing industry and even just life in general. I'm not one to depend on one thing because I always think the bottom's going to fall out. I'm somewhat pessimistic, and it hurts my fishing. So I've managed to kind of conglomerate a bunch of things that come together, and they all kind of add up, and I'm able to make it from day to day, and I enjoy it.
So you when it comes to doing JT stuff, you manage his social media and his video stuff as well?
Yeah, I help him with editing videos, pictures, and stuff like that. We get to hang out, which is kind of fun, dude. He'll help me. Like we did a video on Scumfrog stuff. I kind of talked to him about his perspectives on the new Scumfrog launch frog and stuff like that. He's been super cool. He's one of the first like pro guys that I actually like became good friends with, and like I love him. He's like a ginger 7-foot version of me, kind of. Like we're obviously different, but like our personalities and our humor sync, and whenever we're hanging out, we have a good time. And what's really nice too, JT's a great communicator. I don't know if you've watched MLF, and like, yeah, he has some fun on there, and like he'll, you know, just say some funny stuff and play around. But if you really listen to like the way he's announcing and the narratives that he puts out, like he's very analytical, dude. Like he's not a stupid guy. He knows fishing, he knows people, and he knows the game. And it's interesting to kind of hear him sort of expound on those things because he has a lot of depth. There's not just like the funny JT woohoo. Like there's a lot there, and there's a lot to learn.
He was actually back, you know, when we started 44 Tackle, he was actually the first, I guess you'd call it, professional fisherman that showed up to our store.
Really?
Yeah. So it was like my little, you know,
Yeah.
my little giggly schoolgirl moment where I, you know, came from, somebody called me and said he pulled it. I was like, oh my God, I got to run over and see JT. I got to introduce myself, blah, blah, blah.
All 9 feet of him.
Yeah.
He's a gigantic dude.
Yeah. Man, he gave me a lot of good insight though right off the bat, and I had asked him. I said, "What's your first impressions of the store?" And he's like, "Well, if there's nothing, if it's not in here, you don't need it in Florida." And that was
that's kind
like
of always been your philosophy.
and so that was like the first insight from somebody like that though that came into the store and was like, "Man, you've got everything that's in Florida." And as far as I'm concerned, you know, you've got the gambler stuff, you've got anything across the board that you could need here fishing around in the state.
That's what I've always liked about your store, though, because you have all that stuff, and then like you guys have really dimensional fisheries up here because you can fish a little bit deeper, you know, not like super deep, but like Weir, I guess you can fish deep and stuff.
Yeah,
and like you have
fishing.
the Florida stuff, but like you do. This is sounding like a tackle shop plug, but like I seriously do like the way you have your shop set up because I can go out there and get stuff for fishing down like around Sebring where I go and stuff like that, and you have a dimensional assortment. Oh yes, the dog is drinking. You know he won't drink beer. I tried to give him beer once. No, I tried to give him beer once, and he looked at me and he's like, "This is not good." And I'm like, "Okay." Like, and then I tried another kind of beer. I think I tried Miller Lite, and then I tried what did I have? What's the golden one? The expensive
High Life?
No,
Or,
it's
expensive.
Yeah, it comes in like a 40.
40.
Yeah, it's like the yellowish gold label.
Old English?
No, dude, that's hood stuff. I forget what it's called, but whatever. I gave him like some fancy stuff, and he's like, "I ain't having it either."
The Stella Artois.
No, it's a very yellowish beer. It has a yellow label. It comes in like the bigger bottle you can get it. It's kind of sweet, rich flavor, caramely. It's making me excited even talking about it. It's gold something. You guys know what it is? Shaking your head. All right, buddy. All right.
He's got Dawson clueless here.
Yeah, so I guess back to points there.
Back to the points. So when it came to meeting these guys, how did you meet Val from Gambler? That's a big one.
You know, it's a funny story. I don't know actually. So I got an email or something or a phone call from Val way back in like 2012, 2011 or something. And it was like, "Hey, I'd like to sit down and have a meeting with you and talk to you." And I'm like, "Cool. Like, this is the cool," you know, like, I'm like, "Wow," you know, like, whatever. And I don't know. Val's always in the mix. Val knows everybody, and he knows his environment. He knows where his business is located, like Central Florida, South Florida, like he knows everybody. And I don't know. My old man always used to like go and reach out to people for me, unbeknownst to me. And I don't know if my old man like got like a bird in his ear or something like that, or if or Val like was talking to some guy down there, and they're like, "There's this douchebag out on Okeechobee shooting videos, and they're okay, you know, like with your Easies." I don't know if that happened, but me and Val sat down, and I talked to him for an hour about his baits, about marketing, about Gambler, and it was awesome, and I was so fired up. And then I didn't talk to him for like 6 months. And he never called me back. And I'm like, bro, like, what did I do? I must have been like, because I had no self-confidence either, man. Like, I was shooting the videos and trying to like do the best I could. I think I still had the little stupid John boat at that point. And I mean, like, I've always been kind of a dork. Like, I don't know if what I'm doing is right or like cool or anything, but like there's some things I like to do, and I've become more and more confident as I go through those processes. So I'm more and more confident with myself and what I'm doing. But like at that point, I'm like, I don't know, like I'm a dork, whatever. So like, yeah, 6 months went by and that joker didn't call me back or nothing. And I'm like, like forget that. I ain't gonna. And I think I shot him a text or something. I'm like, bro, I haven't heard from you. It was just following up for the last time. He's like, come down and see me. Okay. And from there, we kind of, it's interesting. Val's a great communicator, kind of like what I talked about with JT. And in talking to Val for 1 hour, I learned more about the fishing industry, about people, about business than I could have ever learned sitting in a course in a community college or at, getting my MBA or whatever, dude. And like that blew me away. And I'm like, I want to learn more of this because we've talked about this before. Like, in my opinion, school's great, but it's a bunch of crap, dude. It's literally like a piece of paper, and you got to get it. Like, don't get me wrong, you got to go through that process. But real learning occurs with mentors, and it occurs with people who can show you a path, or at least for me, because I'm a show me, and I'll learn better than you can believe, and I might even get better at it than you. But I need someone to show me, and I saw that mentor aspect in him, and he thought I was halfway okay, and we became really good friends. We worked together. I do a lot of Gambler marketing stuff, and Val is a great angler and an even more amazing communicator and businessman, and almost everything I've learned about this industry has come from him.
Yeah, and I remember you've said multiple times that if it wasn't for him, you might not have taken the job side or the financial side of this as a business.
I'd be a damn librarian, dude, or something like that. Yeah, I wouldn't be. Everybody needs a break, right? Like the way, like even a tournament, dude. Yeah. Like you don't win, you get that break, dude. And everything, the stars align and all that. Val was my gateway to get more involved, and he was my break. And I couldn't have asked for. This is gonna sound like mushy gushy, but like. He's good. Like I love that guy, and he challenged me, but offered me an opportunity, which is exactly, at least in my opinion, what anyone who's self-motivated wants. You don't want to be given stuff. You want to be given the opportunity to grow and to develop something, and that's exactly what he offered me.
It sounds like he gave you a chance to fail a couple times here and there. And
no, I failed. There wasn't a chance. There was me. Screwing up.
Like he had the right balance of.
He's a great manager, and that's kind of like what I see in you, Chris. I mean, I don't want to get too personal. No, but I mean, but you're like that. You're like, if something goes wrong, you're like, that's frustrating. But here's what we can draw from that process that was positive. Here's what we can learn from that process, and now we can move forward in a more informed direction. And like, it's not like you're just gonna say, "Oh, failure," or whatever. But like. It happens. You're critical of it, and then you move forward.
Yeah, there's no reason to get mad about it or harbor any emotions over any of that stuff, because I mean, at the end of the day, you've got to come out of it somehow, and you're never going to come out of it if you're always grudging it.
Right, and you're a self-made guy. Like everybody usually looks down to your subordinate or something like that, or you look up to your boss. When it comes to you, like this is your shop, dude. Like the buck stops with you. Like there is no, hey, could you go fix this for me? It falls on you, and you have to have that balanced administrative kind of approach.
Yeah, there's my mom always told me that you gotta pick up your big girl pants and figure it out.
And keeping a clear, like we kind of talked about, you don't dwell on failure, you learn from it and you move forward. But that philosophy, I guess maybe coming back to me being kind of a dork and not being very confident, learning and sort of internalizing that aspect of management. And that aspect of management it's self-management as well. It's not just managing people in a business or something like that really reflects on like how you approach yourself and how you move forward. And for me, that was a big learning aspect, and taking him as a mentor and learning that process, like played a big role in developing how I look at things right now and how I'm able to communicate with people and address projects or whatever,
One thing that's interesting about your channel that you've been able to maintain while working for these guys and stuff like that is being very universal in your content. And I think there's a lot to be said for that, for maintaining your personal channel the way it is when you're still, supposed to be marketing Gambler and, and clients. And I think it's interesting how is it hard to maintain that balance of being unbiased sometimes?
So here's the way I look at it, and maybe you'll be on board with this too. So I don't have a bunch of like sponsors or anything for the channel. Like I work with Gambler and I have a bias towards Gambler. And I think really that's like the only one that pays me because I work with JT. I do like side projects for companies, and stuff like that. But there's no like the only one that I really like work with straight out, I think is Gambler. But my thing is I love Val, and I think I made that quite clear. I love Gambler products, and I did that long before I ever kind of worked with Val or met Val or anything like that. So I like people, and if they have a great product, I like that too. So for me, it's easy because in the reality, not one thing catches fish ever. Not one product is perfect. I mean, that's just, that faux thing is unreal. But I like supporting people and products that I believe in. And that sounds very cliche, but in reality, that's what I try to do. But at the same time, I recognize the secondary reality of, dude, there's a lot of stuff that works. And there's some stuff that works better at certain times. And like, I just try to keep that balance going. And the other thing that I've always tried to do is the video aspect of the channel is my hobby. It's mine, right. Like MINE. Like no one can take that away from me. No one can with that. You don't have to bleep that out either. It's mine. So like, and I've always tried to preserve that because when it comes down to it, the place that I go when I have a long day with work or something like that is I go to that content that I made, and like it's my little artsy fartsy, like I made this, and I like protecting it like that because it also allows me to learn a lot more. When I'm able to like go and throw whatever, use whatever, try whatever, and there's no one holding crap over your head, like that freedom. I think we've talked about it before. I think the most powerful word in the English language is no. Like if you can say no, you're empowered because it's like, go do the no. And like, that's how I look at the channel. The channel is supposed to be positive and stuff like that. But literally it's built on the theme of like, hey, can you do this product and put no. Like, I'm going to do what I want. Now, if your product's awesome and I start using it and I love it and I want to put it in the video, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, and I've seen you do that before where somebody that you run into sent you something to check out.
Exactly. You try it out and play around, but like, I want to protect that because
I'm sorry to the people that gave you product that
but that's the thing. I mean, and you know that's why you're a business owner though. You don't want to be beholden to anybody. I mean, you're beholden to your rent or whatever, dude. But like, you keep some little kind of corner for yourself, and that's what the channel is to me. Ironically, it's starting to grow now, which is really cool. And after 10 years, I can't believe that.
Yeah, you were stalled out there for a little while, like 39,000 or something like that.
Well, I never really tried. I always looked at it as kind of a hobby, you know? I never thought it could be a realistic like thing that you do. And maybe that's my like millennial or pre-millennial thing talking, but I don't know. Like I always want to protect it because I built it as something that was built on pure honesty and like just a personal experience. And I want to protect that because I think if I lose that, I lose the sort of essence of all those videos that I made and all that content. You know what I mean? You gotta have a what do you call that? A mission statement. Yeah. You gotta have like that much of a mission statement that's not super specific, but like that one line you can go back to, you know?
Yeah, the thing that keeps you going the whole time.
Exactly, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. So the man, I've had a lot of fun every time we do our video shoots, and and stuff like that.
And you always catch the big ones. Unbelievable. I mean, come to Mikey Balzz Fishing where Chris Kingree like racks them, bro.
Oh man, it's just a little bit of luck, but
bullshit.
You know,
but it's fun. You always take me out. Like, dude, you put me on fish on Harris. You took me out to Russo. Like, I always have fun hanging out, dude.
Yeah. It's I've learned a lot just in, the differences when you get on somebody else's boat. You always learn something new. Whether it's
that's true.
Me taking you to the spot, but you've picked up like several different lures that I would have never even touched.
But you still caught the big one.
Sometimes it's that cosmic cooter bait.
The cosmic cooter, yeah.
Back in stock as soon as we get it here shortly. It's been hard to get. No, it's I love you, Val, and Dylan. No, so we, I mean, and that's just a thing that makes it awesome to work with a company like Gambler too, is that we were able to do a custom color like that, and then and that's how you and I got connected, even was through Val, because Val asked what he could do for us.
Right.
And I said, man, we need to get
Mikey needs a place to stay. Put up that hobo,
dude. Honestly, I believe that, for us as a store, it helps us to have videos because everybody I think there's a fair portion of people that skip Google searches now and they go straight to YouTube to search to solve problems.
No doubt.
And so for my perspective, I think there's a lot of people that do the research on the videos. I mean, I did it myself. That's how I found you in the first place. But Val introduced me to you because he had asked me what he could do to make it better. And I said, we need to have videos locally that are able to showcase people catching fish on your baits in our local area where they can look around and they go, I know where that spot is.
Yeah.
There's really fish there. I would have never thought to throw a swim bait there. Or I'd never thought to throw, this or that, or put a big Senko on a ace on a Ned head.
Right.
That wouldn't have been a thought to anybody until, they saw it in a video.
Yeah.
And so that confidence that it provides, I think, supports us locally, because then they're going to come in and they're going to say, oh, wow, that video showcased you guys on that lake, this lake, whatever. And it worked. And that proved true with the first video we did with Glenn Brown.
Yeah.
Russo, everybody thought was dead because of Irma. And Glenn had called us and said, look, Russo is
not dead.
It's game on. Yeah. It's really good right now. And we were able to go out there, and actually Glenn wasn't even supposed to go. He had just told me about it, and Val had told me it was like a last minute thing. Hey, Mikey's going to be up in your area next week. Is that going to work? I said, he's like, do you think we can get on some fish on Russo? I said, I don't know, but you should. I said, you guys have got a good relationship with Glenn. You should get him involved too, because he's on them. And so we all went out there, and man, we shot in 4 hours.
Yeah,
to get all of that content.
A blast.
It was between Glenn and Ellis. They were a riot, absolute
it was
riot.
So much fun.
But that's one of the defining moments of, I think, of you and me really hitting it off a little bit for this stuff. But and going forward, I think, and it was really an eye opener to me that it started out as a product thing. And then I get, 20 people in a week come through the door and go, oh my God, Mikey?
Oh God.
Oh yeah. I know you love the fans.
Well, I'm not, seriously, I'm a tool. I'm such a douchebag and I'm not cool. And it's weird to, I don't know. But that's
legitimately,
cool,
it was a trackable thing that we did. And it a project that we came up with between Val and I of experimenting, and Val taking the risk of, getting that to happen.
Yeah. You know what? I think, though, in the bigger picture, though, that's what I've kind of always been about, though, because regional relevancy, in the end, dude, especially with the way the web works, you're never going to take over the world. There's going to be two guys that take over the world, whatever, great. But, if you can, establish, it's actually happening up in North Central Alabama, dude. I'm learning Gunnersville. And like all of a sudden there's like guys watching the channel like, bro, I fish out there. But it's cool because that process creates, all of a sudden you have a link with someone.
Yep.
And especially for those of us that cherish fishing as much as I know you do and I do, like that bond, like to share water or to fish the same place or to want to learn about the body of water that you fish, like that means a lot. And you can't fish every lake in the world. So if you focus on that regional relevancy, and that's very grassroots, which I am 100% about. Like, I think that's awesome. I mean, that's what I was doing down in Florida all the time. Like when I fished orange, all I wanted to do was capture my experience and share it. Yeah. And if you wanted to take something from that experience, get on it, dude. Like and that's what's cool because it still works, you know? Like, yeah. It shows the internet actually does work. It's really not just all porn.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Yeah, no, I mean, we had multiple people come in and was like, man, you guys should, can you do more videos like that? I said, well, I don't think I can get Mikey around that much, but I mean, the videos in general I mean, you and I try to do them whenever you're in town.
Yeah, and I love it, dude.
Yeah, it's always a good time, and at the least, we, laugh at ourselves at the end of the day.
Well, I mean, we haven't done bad. And that one with Glenn, I think that was probably one of the most fun. Yeah. And Glenn definitely helped us out there, like, because he clued us in. And that's that process we were talking about. Yeah. Like the camaraderie. Like, we all go out there and we're fishing against Glenn and Ellis. And they didn't whoop us, but they whooped us.
And he was smack talking bad.
Oh, yeah, dude. But then afterwards, we go out for another, like, hour and a half, 2 hours. Glenn's like, bro, here's what you got to do. He lays out the pattern, walks us through it. We go out there and we catch, I think we caught like a couple 4-pounders or 3.5,
4 15 fish or something like that after catching 5 to make the limit.
And then it kind of went that full circle, like failure, evaluate and then move forward and try to be successful. And it was awesome. Like that was a lot of fun. You get me all fired up for tomorrow. You tell them where we're going?
No, we're going to secretly go to the secret lake of Orange.
Oh, it's a secret now.
No.
Orange is a secret, you mean?
No. Oh, okay. I don't know if it's a secret, but I think it's going to be this time of year. It sounds like it's fishing like a 1 6-pounder kind of day.
Yeah, but I'll take a risk on that. The secret is that new Headwaters Lake. That place is going to be.
So you said you've gone down there. So explain what Headwaters is.
Tune into Mikey Balzz Fishing in about 3 weeks, and you can see it all. I'm joking. It's super cool. Basically, for those of you guys that don't know, Headwaters is it's kind of an extension of Stickmarsh, you'd say, down the same dirt road. It's a new lake that they just opened up. It's like 12,000 acres, and literally every square foot of that lake is fishable. There is hydrilla, there is mats, there's everything. I didn't smash them like some of these guys are smashing them, but I definitely caught some good fish and like crazy topwater explosions. But it's dumb. Fishing in August in Florida sucks. I think you can agree with that.
August and September are probably the 2 toughest months, I'd say. It starts getting tough end of July, but you get August, September, for whatever reason, it's like the bass are on hiatus.
So in general right now down there, it's at like a good to awesome level, which means come January, December, February, it's going to be unbelievable.
I mean, if I had to live in 90-degree water, I probably wouldn't want to eat much either.
Yeah, but that's the crazy part, dude. Yeah. They dug trenches in this thing.
Yeah, so like they deep dug water.
Like the diversity, dude. I didn't see eelgrass, but there's hydrilla, there's pennywort, there's hyacinth, there's cane, there's round reeds, there's ditches, there's gravel. Like, dude, you name it, and it's there. There's gates, water gate. Like, it's stupid, and it looks. Me and JT were talking, and part of the lake that we really focused on, it's straight up monkey box, Harney Pond. You'll actually see a video. I'm going to put up a video. JT kind of walks through a fishing report and that if you tune into the channel. But it's Okeechobee, the north end of Okeechobee in 2008 through 2010, dude. Like when it was fire. When they caught what was there, like 4 bags over 100 pounds or something in the 3-day total or something like that. When it was just, there were a bunch of, it was the 20-pound thing. There were 30 bags over 20 years. Yeah, it looks like that. Like wow. It's going to be a lot of fun, dude.
I'm hoping to get down here and get down there at least next week, hopefully.
Get after it.
Yeah, I feel like there's not many times in your lifetime that you get a chance to fish a lake fresh from the start.
That's literally why I went. I'm not one for belt notches and stuff like that, or like, I was at the opening of the Olympics or whatever. Jeez, you got all these metal things. But no, but yeah, I wanted to be able to say, because you hear the old men talk about, you know, I was at Stick Marsh when it opened.
When it was really good.
Or just when it opened.
Or even Orange Lake back in the day.
Exactly, man. And like, I kind of, for all the things, I never really have memories or experiences like that. I wanted to be able to say, I was there the first week it opened, and I was there.
Yeah,
not that it was amazing.
That's kind of
like I was there.
That's why I kind of want to go. That and fishing everywhere else right now. Like our local lakes, we're catching 5 or 10 fish a day, and they're maybe 12 to 14 inches.
But that's what I'm saying.
And
it's
down there,
stupid,
you can go down
dude.
there and catch numbers right now.
And you can catch some
year.
5s and 6s, and you got a shot, dude. There's some kayak boys that caught like 13s last year. There's monsters in there, dude. So it's gonna be cool. It's going to be a lot of fun. I plan on, if you guys tune into the channel, like when I come down in January usually, or around that early time. I'm literally going to fish there and around Sebring, dude. Like, I don't know if I'll even be on Okeechobee or Kissimmee. I might get a day out there, but the place is beautiful. Like, just so, all this grass. And, like, props to the FWC for the way they created this and managed it. And I don't want to get too negative with it, but I just wonder why you see this epic, insane, beautiful management, and they open this lake, and you're like, oh my God, this is gorgeous.
Why doesn't every other lake look like that?
Or even halfway like that? Or why can't you manage, if it's about sectioning off lakes, why can't you manage one lake in the Kissimmee chain like that? Why can't you? I guess Toho looks pretty good now, but I always go back to Okeechobee, and there's water level issues there, and that's a whole nother conversation. But I just wish there were some other lakes that look like this, because the potential in Florida is a great place to fish. It's a beautiful place to fish. And that potential and what's happening at the headwaters is something that can happen anywhere in this state, dude.
Right. Yeah, and those fish will always seem to get a little bit bigger just because of the temperatures down there. They're at prime metabolism down there with.
Well, your fish get big, dude. Because they're always catching like the 14s up. We get like those 10 through 12s, but them bruisers, dude.
Yeah, Lake Hernando up here and Lake Russo, they at one point, I mean, every year there's always multiple fish over 12 pounds caught up here. It's not an everyday thing, but I'd say once, twice a month, there's a 10-pound plus caught in these lakes locally, whether it's Henderson, Hernando, or Russo.
Yeah, dude, there's epic fishing up here. Like I said, a lot of those pros that came out of here, they're not just Florida anglers. They're dimensional guys, dude.
And that's the interesting thing about our lakes. And you've only been to Hernando, really, but
I was on Hernando.
Yeah. That's kind of like a shallow grass, flat pads, Kissimmee grass.
Clear. Yeah.
Really clear because it's really filtered through there. It's the last lake in the chain before it dumps back in the river. But then you go to Lake Henderson, and it almost fishes a little bit more like a northern lake in the sense that it does have a lot of muck in it, but it's, got sections of 20, 30 foot of water.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It doesn't have a lot of structure in it. It's got maybe a rock or two, or they don't hold
trees down.
But there's a couple sections like that, and then it's got pads and it's got the typical Kissimmee grass and stuff. But then you've got trees, you got cypress trees. It's a real big mix. Mm-hmm. Whereas then you go to Floral City, and in Floral City, it's essentially, now that place used to be like one of the best places to flip until they ripped out a lot of the vegetation there.
Really? I never heard of that.
Yeah, they had, like, there was places back in the day when we used to have our little fruit jar tournaments. Yep. We would all race to one line there that was about 50 feet long.
Really?
Because whoever made it there first would literally
put up the W.
They'd literally get 5 flips in a row.
Yeah.
Where they'd catch 20 plus pounds.
Jeez.
And it was like something magical about that section of the lake that they were always there. And if you got there, you could get bit every time.
That's what pisses me off about Loch Lusa. Loch Lusa used to be like that in a few stretches, dude, and it's just
But that now looks more like a lake that you'd find in like Georgia.
Yeah,
there's a lot of wood. It's very tannic, muddyish water, and it's. Now it fishes completely different. You fish wood, you fish shell beds.
Yep.
There's a couple shell beds there, and there's really no vegetation anymore. It's just muck, sand, and wood.
Yeah.
And so that's a whole different place. So if you can figure out every lake on this chain, when you go out of state, everything starts to come together, and you can kind of feel at home a little bit. Like if you go, Chickamauga, you can fish points because you learn that from Floral City, fishing points, or trees and skipping trees with Senkos and stuff like that. And then you go elsewhere and, you get in this like grass lakes and things like that. You've still got that grass mentality to find offshore grass, like Panasofki around here. Same thing, it's a shallow 3 foot, 4 foot everywhere. And it's got nothing but grass.
It's a lot like a northern lake. Well, even Russo, the stump fields.
And the stump field of Russo,
even Chickamauga.
And you can fish 20, 30 foot in Russo. Yeah, so
I remember that, dude. That's the old river bends.
Yeah, and actually the old river bend's back again. I mean, that thing's
really
getting hot again.
Why you gotta put that out in your podcast, bro? Like,
hey, it happens.
Burning fish.
Hey,
do you know when the old river?
But you know what? That's like a 2 mile section that you got to figure it out though. It's not.
There's one.
You don't
spot.
just go out there and load them
There
up.
is one corner on there, and I can call it, dude. If we get when I left here, I think it was 2010 or 2009 or 2010, and I fished Russo for like 1 year, and I loved that lake. And there's one turn on there. We had the worst winter like in ages. And dude, I would go out there and there's one turn and they would bite from sun up for an hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half. And it was 50 degree. It would be like 39 in the morning. It was like 50 in the afternoon. Water temp was like 51. But dude, they'd school on this one river ledge and you'd throw like you're up north, throw jerk baits. I threw a damn, what the hell, those little spoons, like a little jigging spoon kind of deal. And they'd be out there over, I think it was like 22 or something. And they're off that ledge, dude, just suspended. And there were bigs, dude. And it's just, but you got to get that winter or summer. I'm sure you could do it.
And you'd have like a layer. It'd be layered by size too.
Yeah, I could see them on the graph on the old school
smaller ones up
2D.
top. And then if you could beat the smaller ones, you'd get to the bigger ones.
That little lucky
so you either had to
craft
catch
there.
like 10 or 15 of the small ones first or drop something real heavy and get it down.
Which also speaks to, I guess, going back to what we were talking about, like the diversity. Like we're literally fishing like a river ledge, river bend, suspended fish,
moving water sometimes.
moving water. So, yeah, that's why those guys around here are good.
Yeah, I think going forward from, that aspect of tournament fishing and stuff like that, I think that the diversity of somebody like Robbie Crosno. So he's known in Florida for flipping, but I mean, I've seen him smash him out of state. And that's the same thing. He's dangerous with a rattle trap. He's dangerous with several different baits other than flipping. He just is known for flipping. Yeah. Because that's what he wants to do everywhere. And Robbie was just on the podcast too, and he kind of went over some of that.
I got to actually watch that podcast because the other thing too, going back to the competition thing we were talking about in that, I'm not a winner. Like I'll be the first to say, like, I'm not like I'm going to win. I'm not an optimistic, and something that I've noticed with those guys who are successful tournament fishing, my buddy Donnie Bass, Crosno, and they go with momentum too. But like these guys literally go into these events and they believe they're going to win. And I'm not talking like, positive stuff. No. Like, dude, like brass tacks, 150%, they believe they're going to win. And that's something I've never been able to achieve from a confidence or a clairvoyance. Yeah. But like when they get on a roll and win one, that's what Robbie went on that tangent, like winning, I think back-to-backs, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
like
BFLs,
and like they get in that zone, and then when they win, it just feeds into that confidence. And I've actually experienced like literally your brain or that confidence puts like fish on the line. And like it's something I've always been curious about and wanted to. I don't know if you can learn that or if that's something intrinsic or what, but that's one thing I've always respected with Robbie and all those guys, dude.
I think it's you just can't be afraid to fail. I think that's the
maybe
big
that's
thing.
what it is.
Because like Robbie's always I'll talk to him before a tournament and get a little bit of insight on stuff and I'll say, yeah, I'm looking around for a limit. He's like, what are you doing that for?
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you ain't gonna win a tournament fishing for a limit. You got to go for 5 big ones.
Go big or don't go at all.
And that's those guys and when they win big.
I just think they have this elevated, because you see guys that win consistently, like Jacob Wheeler, even like Scott Martin, when he was on his, like I don't know if it's something that's triggered, nice, but more millennial talk, dude. But like they do have something like that there's something that drives some kind of winning attitude, some kind of positivism that kicks in, and it's always there. But when it goes into gear and like the right pieces start coming together, they're able to close. ABCs always be closing, and like that process that's always blown my mind because we're always kind of interested in things that you're not able to achieve or that you don't totally understand. And that's something that's always been, you know, a hand grasp away from me, like when that winning attitude, and something I've always respected with Robbie, Mikey Kiso, Donnie. Sure. And those regional guys are the ones that really amaze me because they're able to dominate, dude. Yeah. And it's intimidating, but it's so cool to watch, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely something to learn from for sure.
I don't know if you can learn it though. That's what I've always wondered.
Yeah. It could be just something that has to be passion. Like I always talk about people that trying to force things, like trying to force how to, you know, ride a skateboard
or a bike force a lure bite or something.
Yeah. Try to do things other people are doing because they think it's cool and they need to do it, and they're just not good at it. It's just, you know, not everybody's made to win.
Wow.
if that's the harsh truth.
I just take that very personally.
I mean, that's what I always brought up, though.
Hunter,
it's like,
I'm gonna need some positivism after this. Not everyone's built to win. Oh
no! I mean, it's true in a way, because that's how I always like grew up. Like nothing should be handed to you; you got to earn it. And you know, I mean, I grew up in the times when it was, you know, no participation trophies. I mean, you either won or you lost, and that's the hard truth of it. And I think we need a lot more of that right now. And that's I think that's the way those guys look at it: is I'm either winning or I'm losing.
No, I agree with you. And getting. Yeah, maybe it is kind of a boring thing.
It's like a all or nothing.
It is all or nothing. That's a really good point, because I do half-ass stuff sometimes. No, but seriously, and like that hurts your process. Yeah, because you're not like, if this doesn't work, I'm not gonna eat, or if this doesn't work, like I'm gonna be so pissed or lose my dignity, or like you're gonna lose something that's so integral to yourself if this doesn't work. So you put every drop of yourself into it. That's a really good point, Chris.
Yeah, so when it comes to fishing and stuff like that, you've now made you've made the move to Alabama. What caused that? Why did you move to Alabama? Because first you were living up here, and then you moved down to Okeechobee. Everybody's like, "Oh,
no, I live in Fort Lauderdale."
Or Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, we're fishing Okeechobee.
Yep. And I moved to Fort Myers.
And everybody's like, "Oh, Mikey's going to Okeechobee now a lot more instead of."
Dude, no one knew me at that time.
Believe it or not, around here you had quite a following. You had a following. There's a bunch of us, you know, weekend warriors that watched your videos back in the day, and you know, Mr. Hero, I believe a buddy of mine.
Mr. Hero,
yeah, wow, Mr. Hero, bro. There you are. Wow. No, but like a buddy of mine that we used to fish the fruit jar tournaments he actually sent you a message back in the day. It was like, man, it'd be cool if you came out and fished them with us and whatever else. Yeah.
I used to fish the little Russo Dam tournaments and stuff.
But he was, you know, trying to get you out for a while there, and you know, then you'd moved, and it wasn't.
I'm like, I'm out of here, bro. Peace.
Yeah. So
I always loved fishing up here.
But the you know, going down there, everybody kind of followed you and went, man, now he can really flip all the time. Because that was back when you moved there, it was like Okeechobee in its prime almost.
Oh, dude, it was on fire.
And so for your content on flipping and people learning how to flip, it was like a gold mine, because then I think there's like all of us up here going, man, we want to go to Okeechobee all the time.
It was stupid down there. Well, and even just general Florida fishing, throwing an easy over the top. Like, you know, there's videos. I'm always known, I guess, or whatever, for like flipping and stuff. But like, there's a bunch of videos mixed in doing all kinds of crap down, throwing a trap and boat cuts and stuff. Super Newt. Shout out to Hunter. But it's just, there is some fun stuff down there. But I think we're getting away from the point of your question.
What made the move to Alabama? That was kind of like, it almost seems spur of the moment. It sounds like it was planned, but it was, you know, what got you to
it's Alabama? Been in a process for a while. So two things made that happen. One, so we were talking about the competition and stuff. So my competition, for as much as I do all this work and stuff, and not all my work is in the fishing industry, but I am able to work from wherever I want to work. So one of my goals is I want to live different places, because I've always enjoyed doing that. The second portion of that was, so the videos kind of drive stuff. I look at those as a way to sort of challenge myself to learn things. So I don't know everything in Florida. 100%. Like, and I sucked out here actually for quite a bit, like for the past year or two before I left or whatever. I wanted a new challenge. I wanted a new scenery. I wanted a new set of things to learn. I wanted a new set of challenges. And I actually filmed JT up in Alabama a couple times. We would take a trip up there to get some different kind of content, like ledge fishing. And dude, it was beautiful. Now, at heart, I'm Florida people. I love it down here. I still come down here, come hang out with you and that. Excuse me, COVID coming out here.
Oh boy.
But I wanted a new challenge, and that fit. And dude, it is gorgeous up there, and there's so many different things you can do. I wanted to learn better how to throw square bill. I wanted to catch smallmouth. I wanted to catch spots. I wanted to ledge fish. And the other nice thing too is I actually took a trip back to Wisconsin last year. Dude, it took me 10 hours to get there. If I drove there from Florida, it'd be like 20 hours, 22 hours. Yeah. So an accessibility standpoint, I'm willing to drive 5, 8, 7 hours. I'm like 8 hours from Toledo Bend. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but hell yeah, that's going to happen. Yeah. So going to Lanier, I wanted a new challenge. I wanted a new chapter in content, and I just wanted to change the pace. Everybody needs to break stuff up, otherwise you get complacent and stupid. And I was getting to a point where I was complacent and stupid, so it was time to pull the trigger.
That's awesome. So you just up and left and
up and leave. I mean, there's orchestration.
No, I mean, it takes planning, but
yeah, I mean, I was fortunate enough to have the flexibility to work as long as I have an internet connection.
And you had to talk the girlfriend into it.
Yeah, she got a job up there, and she actually liked
model,
it.
I see. No,
swimsuit model. Swimsuit model. Got a job swimsuit. No,
gonna have to start a new Instagram page for her.
No, she ain't gonna go for
swimsuit
that.
model.
No, that's. But what I find funny is people are like, hey, swimsuit model's cool, but where's Bog at? I'm like, don't worry, bro. Don't worry. I got you. Because as soon as it's like 60 degrees out and she's cold, you ain't going to be seeing none of that, dude. She gets replaced with Bog. So we're going to swap them out. But I wanted something new.
Yeah.
And Alabama is very challenging. I sucked when I got up there. And I still kind of suck. And I feed off the suck, because I remember when I first came to Okeechobee, the first and second days I ever went out there, I think I caught 2 fish one day and I caught 4 fish the next. And it was after trying to catch fish for 8 hours. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was in a tiller 16-foot John boat, and even though I'm in a nice, fancy, awesome setup, I have all the lures I could ever dream of, I can't catch a damn bass sometimes. And that is humbling and annoying. And you want to talk about the chip on your shoulder and the motivation, that pisses me off. And I've really tried to kind of take that and hedge that and make it into something. And it's definitely made me a better angler down here in Florida. I catch more fish, and I see more and perceive more, and I'm better because I moved up.
It helps you keep your head down when you get frustrated, and rather than giving up, you just go, why am I not getting it?
Oh, I give up. But then I come back. No, because
you come back.
Come back the next day or something, or a week later, and I'm like, I'm gonna get you, boy. And it's been good. And the diversity of fish species too has really taught me a lot. Like a spot behaves hella different than a freaking largemouth. So just stuff like that.
They're very aggressive.
It's just been fun. And the people up there, man, I'll be honest with you, they're super nice. I love Central Florida and stuff. People are super cool. Alabama has been the same, dude. People are super nice. They come talk to me about the videos, and they're like, they watch, they'll come up at the boat ramps, and I kind of chose a better community to sort of move to and go back and forth. Honestly, it sounds kind of old manish, but I'm good where I'm at. Between Alabama and here, I have all the bass I could ever dream of wanting to catch, all the diversity of cover, of just things to learn. And the people are cool as hell in both places. So I'm a happy camper, dude.
Yeah, it definitely shows in the videos that you're learning along the way, because it's definitely you've come up with more ways to catch those fish than when you first got there too. It started out as finding the generalized things and then branching out, just like you did down here.
Well, and I've had help. The mentoring thing. I got a buddy who fishes the FLW Pro Circuit. He's actually in the same boat as me. He moved to Gunnersville from Oregon. Jacob Wall. You should get him on the podcast if he's ever down here.
Yeah, for sure.
Super well spoken, cool dude. Tyler Wolcott too. He's over in Florida. But in any case, me and Jacob moved from Oregon. Totally different, dude. I moved from Florida, totally different. So we share kind of perspectives as we learn. We went out and shot a couple of videos. My buddy Ryan Salzman, who's a guide up there, he's good.
Yeah, Ryan knows a bunch of people around here too.
Exactly.
Traveled with George and all those guys.
And he'll throw me a pinch. He'll throw me an inch, and he'll be like, "Go make a foot out of that."
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's what you need. You need people to help you, to nudge you. You got to make the push. but you need a nudge every once in a while. And I've met some great people to help do that. And it's really helped the process, because when I feel like I bottomed out and I'm stuck, you get that little nudge, and then you get out there and you put your work in and something happens.
So have you seen an uptick now that you've diversified your YouTube content because you've moved now?
So there's definitely been like a regional resonance. Like guys, like I'll be fishing like Gunnersville, I'll see comments like, bro, I fished there last week, stuff like that. So there has been an uptick of that. I don't know, with everything going on, man, and with COVID, like I've seen growth, but at the same time, like everybody's staying at home a lot more, especially like in early spring, there were a lot more guys consuming content in that. I don't know if more people are watching YouTube, more people are getting involved in fishing. You told me like there's been a lot more people through the door. People are picking up fishing.
Oh, for sure.
It's an independent kind of easily social distance activity. It's a great pastime. And I think once you do it, if you even have like, if you're looking at the video, I'm like doing a small pinchy thing. Like if you have that much of a fishing gene in you, dude, and you catch one bass, you're hooked. Yeah. So I think a lot of these people are trying it out, and because of that, then they're turning to the normal infrastructure to learn. And that's not a book anymore. That's not a magazine. It's friggin' YouTube, dude.
Yeah, we've had tons of new people come in that are just, they've never touched a fishing rod in their life.
Which is awesome.
And they always feel intimidated, and now they've gotten pushed over the edge to actually come in and ask questions.
And that's the thing; it's like a catalyzing effect, dude. And then you get them out there, and it's game on.
Yeah,
dude.
it's funny. I had videos that I had put up at our local lakes for they were up for a couple years that I've never even had anybody mention them.
Right.
And all of a sudden, in like 3 weeks' time, when everything really started to pile up and people were going stir crazy to do something, I had like multiple people come and go, "Oh, I just watched your video the other day." And I was
Chris
like,
is famous.
I said, "I have a video? What video? With Mikey or whatever?" Because I got a lot of comments about our videos. But,
yep.
And he's like, no, I was fishing Lake Henderson. And I went, "You watched it?"
But that's awesome.
But yeah, and that's exciting to hear. And it feels good to get compliments on something that you did a long time ago that you forgot about.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, current stuff is what we always go for. We're like, we want to get instant feedback, but stuff that you did a long time ago that nobody ever mentioned, all of a sudden comes to light, and you're like, okay, it was worth it. I helped somebody along the way.
And that's what I think the process is about. And maybe, I will be honest, I think I did drift from my mission statement that we talked about with the YouTube stuff a little bit. And I tried to be a little more YouTube-y, vloggy. Mm-hmm. And I tried to go down that path for like 8 months, a year. And I'll be honest with you, man, like I just couldn't, it didn't fit me. I think me and you had this conversation. Like, it doesn't, some people are, and dude, I take nothing away from the people who are shooting that kind of stuff, because it takes a lot of effort and a lot of orchestration, and they're doing a great job and they're killing it, dude. I can't do that.
Well, and what we had talked about, and I don't know if it was like a little heart to heart we had at one point when you were up here, it was more along the lines of stick to your genre. What are you doing,
Stick to what you're good at. Yes. Bug is licking the soundboard guy.
Yeah, he's going to be moving the soundboard around for us.
That's right. Turn me up, bro. Turn me up.
But the thing that like we kind of that came out of that conversation was, figure out who your audience is and really what they are. Because like the way I kind of broke it down, I think I remember, was like when I was growing up, you'd watch people like Jimmy Houston and Bill Dance and Shaw Grigsby and, people that were on those TV shows that were teachers. And now it's kind of switched to the YouTube environment of, I want to live vicariously through the person, as opposed to teach me something. I want to see how they're doing it. They want to be shown examples. Whereas before it was like sitting in a classroom, getting lessons, taking notes, and, that whole deal. And I feel like that age group of, probably at this point, age 26, 27 up, was in that generation of watching those guys on TV and could aspire to saying, hey, I want to be on a Bassmaster Classic, or I want to, at least attend something like that and be a part of it. And now I think that under 26, 27 is more of a hands-on, I want to know more about people that have access to the same things I do, like pond fishing and tournaments and getting sponsored is a big topic lately. All that kind of things. They want to do it as a career now. Before it was like, we just want to catch fish. Now it's, I want to be the guy catching fish.
I think there's a lot of learning though too. Like just to boil it down even more, like they just want to learn.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot. Like I make fun of like the millennial thing and that, but like in the end, like there's definitely been a move culturally for that taking part in an experience, having an experience. And part of the process of that experience is learning to do something. That's like a component to actually having that experience. And I really think that's part of the reason the channel has grown too. You talked about like looking at your audience and what they're looking for. For me, it's always been, maybe I'm vain or something, but for me, it's been more of a developmental process. Like I got to look at me and like who I am and what I want to talk about and what I honestly think. Because if you're not being genuine in the content, dude, it's crap.
Oh,
like,
people can read right through it.
Dude, read right through it. People aren't stupid.
All the clickbait
dude.
stuff.
All that crap. Like they're critical. So like for me, there was kind of in the past like year or so, it's like, dude, because I talked about this being a hobby. This is my fun. It's like, it's not fun to fake it.
Yeah.
It's not fun to like orchestrate crap, dude. It's fun to go out, go through a process, learn and like, just be you. I don't care, dude. I laugh like a girl in the stupid videos. I can't watch my own videos, like, cause I go and watch and I'm like, ah! You know, when I catch a fish, I'm like, I'm a freaking clown, dude. Like that is so stupid. But like at the same time, like that's actually I'm that excited and that's how I'm behaving. So I'm like, you know what? Ride it, bro. Like whatever. And just being honest with myself about the content that I want to make, going through that process and letting it be dynamic and just doing what I want to do. I've had a bunch of people tell me my stuff is crap. I don't care. In the end, I'm just going to continue making what I want to make because that's what I like to make. And focusing on that aspect of the process has been important. And actually, I've seen the audience grow and the channel's grown when I do that. So if I can be successful doing what I enjoy doing, the way I enjoy doing it, like, dude, balls to the wall. You know, like
balls to the wall.
Balls to the wall. That's what I'm going to ride. And that's kind of been my new sort of reimagining of the old mission statement. And I think it's helped. I've been trying to teach more, share my experience and learn. And I think in essence, it's fun. You get the fun fishing stuff. You get a little bikini action with the girl. We hang out with Bog. Those are all fun tertiary things. But like it's about the process. It's about learning to catch fish, learning rigs, talking about philosophies of fishing, techniques, perspectives, the differences, patterns. That's my brass tacks. It ain't ever gonna be like a hashtag like super YouTube epic million subscriber thing. But you know what? I'm gonna like what I'm doing, and like there's gonna be a great process of feedback back and forth, a great discourse, and I'm gonna learn a bunch in the process, and I can be kind of successful doing it. You know?
Right, absolutely. And you don't have to worry about listening to somebody else's direction on it. It's all yours.
Exactly. And I don't have to fake it.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to fake crap, dude. I didn't fake videos before, but like I tried to do something that didn't fit my personality. Because dude, I say the wrong things a lot of the time. I say stupid bleep a lot of the time. Like I can't do this orchestrated narrative template crap. Like it doesn't work for me. So like I got to do what I know how to do. And if it's a fun passion project for me, that's the only way to do it.
Yeah. And that goes back to, you know, advice that I was always given growing up. And that's kind of where I've been in the businesses I've worked in. You know, they always said, if you enjoy what you're doing, you never work a day in your life.
They're 100% right.
And I've tried to live by that as much as possible. I mean, I'll do whatever I got to do to, make ends meet and whatever else at the end of the day. But I mean, every business we've got into, we found a way to, enjoy what we do while we, make a living.
Because everything's going to be hard,
Yeah.
And it's kind of like what we talked about with the failure thing. There's always going to be challenges, whether you're in the circus, in the most fun environment, whatever. Even people at Disney, well, that's a bad corporate example, but you know what I mean? Everything that you do has challenging aspects. But like if you go into it, like you said, passionate, like loving it, like it's a challenge, but it's not it's just a totally dissatisfying fail, like, oh, I got to do this again. It's a new opportunity to learn something and kind of do it in a different way, something to take in and move forward in a different direction. I don't know. It just changes your perspective when you have that attitude.
So where do you see yourself going for, are you going to move again, or are you going to stick it out there because it's kind of centrally located?
I mean, I don't see myself moving too soon. I've always talked about moving to Texas. I'd love to move to California, dude, but one, I couldn't afford it, and two, I've heard story. I don't want to get too political, but like if you put me on a political spectrum, I'm like libertarian, dude. I'm like, leave me alone and like stay out of my stuff. I like my gun, you know? So like the rules aspect of California, I think would be very challenging for me on a personal level, but the fishing and the beauty, dude, like it just seems so cool out there. I'd like to move out there, but I don't see that ever happening.
Yeah,
Texas,
there's always week trips.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like if I could grow the channel to get to a point where I could make a little money off of it, or like it was something like viable where I could be like, hey, this is a 25% job, you know, like maybe this is half of what I do or a quarter of what I do. I would go and dude, like, I mean, does anyone not dream of, hey, what are you doing like the next week? Yeah. Oh, bro, I got to go shoot video on Clear Lake. Boo hoo. Yeah. Like really, dude? So, but back to the point, Texas has been on the possibilities.
Do you ever want to go to like, you know, upstate New York or?
No, I'd go visit up there.
Yeah.
I could never.
Those lakes are incredible.
That's what you were telling me.
Incredible. Dude. The smallmouth fishing. I mean, if you've watched any of the Bassmaster Elite stuff,
stupid.
It is insane.
I want to get, because you know what's cool with the season? Like we're in August right now, and it sucks in most places.
And now's the time to go up there.
Exactly, dude.
Perfect.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you could get like a little cycle, and I'm sure some of the pro guys and the video guys that do it like professionally.
Well, that's how they usually try to schedule the bass tournaments too, the prime time of the year.
And they roll up. But it's perfect to be up. I was in Wisconsin in August last year. It was gorgeous, dude. Yeah. It was awesome. So like if I could figure out a way to make enough money to maybe like do some little trips like that, I think that's kind of more of my goal. Is Alabama's a great base point. I really like it there. I like the people. I like the country. I love Florida. It gives me access to there. But it's a great center point. I can be in Wisconsin in 10 hours. I can be in Texas in 8, at least to the, whatever, Toledo Bend kind of deal. So I think traveling is more versus moving.
Yeah, well, and if you're in a centrally located area like you are now, there, you know, you can take the trip. You don't have to, you know, uproot just to fish a region. You can
exactly, and you can spend a little more time.
You've cut out a lot of the time from when you were in Florida. Now you've shaved off, you know, 6 to 8 hours from everywhere.
Exactly. But the only thing with Texas is like it's so spread out. I wouldn't mind moving to Texas, dude. That's always kind of been in the back of my mind. But everything's so spread out.
We've always talked about taking a road trip around, like do a week-long road trip and fish somewhere different every day or every 2 days.
But if you did that, you'd want to like stay, dude. Like you know what I mean? Like
I don't know. I get burned out really quick on stuff. I don't think I've ever wanted to like stay in one place yet. And we've traveled a bunch. I mean, we fished, you know, a week and a half everywhere we go. And like Tennessee, I really like Dayton
Tennessee's
area,
awesome.
Chickamauga area. I really do like that. But as far as like anywhere else, I'm good visiting. I mean, I don't.
Chris says
I don't want it to wear out its welcome.
It
feels,
in Florida
you know,
too, so you got that nice back to go back to, and that.
I don't like cold weather and
no, me either.
Stuff, so.
Yeah, I hate that.
But yeah, man, it was awesome talking to you today, and you know, having you in town again as always. But where can people find you if they don't already know where to find you? Which, if anything, I would hope that
I would just jump on. It's Mikey Balzz Fishing, MikeyBalzz Fishing. Actually, literally, dude. Speaking of SEO, I have the best SEO in the world for something that's totally useless. If you type in Mikey Balzz, MikeyBalzz in Google, you will find everything because no one's stupid enough to name their stuff that. So yeah, it's all over. But definitely follow me on YouTube if you guys enjoy. I try to do fishing videos. I try to do tip videos. I try to share my experience of learning. I guess if you listen to the podcast, you'll understand kind of my philosophy behind the content. But definitely follow me on there, and you can see what it's about. And if you don't like stuff, I definitely support giving dislikes to videos. So give the thumb down and troll me a little bit. It's always enjoyable.
Well, that's it for today. But I want to thank Mikey again for coming down and you know, spending some time. And as always, you can find me at Chris Kingree Fishing or anything about these episodes at www.chriskingreefishing.com. And hope to see you guys next time. That's today's episode. Thanks, guys.